Hey everybody, we are here today to share with you a little bit of news about a film called Beast Mode from writing directing team Chris W. Freeman and Spain Willingham. It's coming out on Tuesday, December 1st. And before we chat with them, let's look at the trailer, shall we?
How would you like to be a rich and famous actor for the rest of your life?
Am I going to be in an actual movie?
You're going to be playing famous Hollywood actor Huckle Saxton.
Huck's dead.
So we use a double. You're going to need to look like him, talk like him, walk like him, and treat others exactly the way he does.
It's a lot of pressure to be an entirely different person.
Don't you have some kind of a magic makeup?
We came across this cream. Wow, what is this?
It makes scars disappear. Wrinkles vanish.
It's got these amazing healing properties.
I just want to tell you to get ready for a change. The new me is going to be different than the old me.
What is inside will be outside, and what is underneath will be revealed.
What did you get into last night?
I'm telling you, there's something evil about this cream.
It feeds on the basest of human emotions: anger, rage, jealousy.
Some things are worth more than money.
Hatred.
I can feel it.
Anything evil.
Martha! What is going on?
So he's acting like the monster from the movie.
Not acting. He is the monster from the movie. Somebody help me! He kind of went a little crazy.
They turn into monsters because they are monsters.
It's like straight out of a movie.
Stamp out the evil you have unleashed.
There's no turning back.
Celebrity is a mask, and you can't take it off.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. Here yet, kids? Okay, with us today are the writing directing duo Chris W. Freeman and Spain Willingham. How are you fine gentlemen this evening?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much, Norm. We're so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. How did this project start? How did it come about?
I had kind of before I even met Chris, I kind of had this obsession with Hollywood and fame and just some of the books and movies and things I was immersed in. And I did a smaller version of this, not a beast mode, but just a sort of this idea. But I knew I wanted to take it bigger. And I moved to LA and kind of threw myself into living in Hollywood and just wanted to satirize the whole thing, the whole machine. And we had a mutual friend, and Chris and I met, and I showed him the script, and he loved it. And then we started collaborating on it, and it grew into us wanting to get together to film it. So
yeah, you came to California. Where are you from, and when did you get here?
I moved to California around the beginning of 2005, originally from Georgia, was kind of going all over the place, Chicago, all over, and made a few tiny little movies, more for fun in Northern California. And Chris was actually doing some bigger studio, big budget stuff, helping out with that. And we came together and we wanted to do our own movie. So that's where Beast Mode came about.
Yeah, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, originally. I moved to Los Angeles very strangely. I had a flight booked 2 days after 9/11 to go out to find a place to live so I could attend UCLA and start learning how to actually work in this industry. And long story short, I was in Los Angeles a really long time. My son was born there, made lots of movies, and haven't been back during this strange time. But we're eager to get back, of course, and keep the train on the tracks. But as far as Spain and I, just like he said, there was a basic idea of Spain and I both love horror. We both love practical effects. We both love blood and gore in the 80s. And the more we hung out, the more we realized, we would find ourselves watching Police Academy 4, we've got all this great, it's like, and we suddenly we're just like, man, we should do this with Beast Mode. And it was a really organic process. The actors were involved a lot. Drew Fortune, the other writer, contributed a lot. It was definitely a collaborative, project for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Police Academy because the cast. I mean, come on,
right?
Like the cast was ridiculous. Okay, first let's start off with C. Thomas Howell. Huh? How did you get C. Thomas Howell?
Well, so you know what? That is the absolute perfect question and the right way to ask it, because we were shocked too. I had previously worked with C. Thomas Howell on a couple of other films. I actually directed him. I produced one that he was in. He just had a supporting role, and then so they were all kind of smaller roles. And I directed him obviously in a supporting role, and he was hysterical in it. And he played it, he played this sheriff from the small town who was basically just a real, not a very good dude, and full of himself and all of this. And he just took it to this other level. And I thought, this guy is so talented. It's been so long since he's done a legitimate comedy where he's done a comedy all the way through. And he was our first choice as soon as I read Spain and Drew's version of the script, which is really pretty different from what we ended up shooting. One thing stayed the same. We knew that C. Thomas Howell had to be Breen. We had to figure out a way to talk him into it. So I like to say we suckered him into it, and he's too good of a guy to bail on us. So he stuck it out, and I think he's actually pretty happy that he did at this point.
Yeah.
It's okay. So you had Leslie Easterbrook, you had James Hong, you had Ray Wise, you had Robert Costanzo. Okay.
Yeah, there weren't even more at one point, but we were like, okay, hold on. We've got such an ensemble. We've got to save some for the sequel.
Well, the crazy, and what else, Norm? We had a commitment from Tony Todd, but we couldn't. We couldn't work it out. It was pretty unfortunate.
That's right.
He was great, and he was gonna be awesome.
And I've seen him since twice in LA, and he was like, just call me next time. So.
Yeah, so I would say this: once we started getting like C. Thomas Howell and James Duvall, I had also previously directed Leslie Easterbrook, who I think is hysterical. Obviously, so unbelievably talented.
She said was hilarious.
Yeah,
she's so funny.
She went all in too, and I wasn't sure she was going to say some of the dialogue and wanting to do some of the things we asked her to do, but she was all in, and so it just, that's what happens with sometimes it has its own natural energy when you start casting, and people found out, oh, C. Thomas Howell's doing it, oh, Leslie Easterbrook's doing it, Robert Costanzo's doing it, then yeah, sure,
right.
Let me read the script. So it was pretty awesome. We're not sure how we did it, I think, is the short answer, but we're really happy that they all joined us.
Were there any fun stories from the set, like working with any one of them? I mean,
it was
something that stands out, or?
It was just a lot of fun seeing them come together. And, when those moments when you're not shooting and they're just over off to the side and you've got C. Thomas Howell and James Hong sharing stories. I mean,
improving.
They make so many movies, and I don't think they've ever crossed paths before.
There's a lot. It's so funny because there's always some really funny and strange stories, like James Hong. Total ladies man. I mean, every female on set was like around him in the makeup, and we're just sitting here, and I'm like, he's literally like 96 years old, or I don't know how old he is, but he's very old, and the man got like charm oozing out of his, it was one of these things where you look at yourself and you're just like, this guy's got all the ladies in the room. I'm over here cleaning the carpet where he's gonna sit,
Yeah, now Norm, his scene did go longer, but because we have to keep the movie rolling, it did get trimmed a little bit. But
it really
did a lot of his own improv and brought his own fun to it. So It went long. If we could have left it, that scene would have been 13 minutes long, but we had to keep the movie rolling. But he was great. Ray Wise was super fun because I got to bring up all my favorite movies.
Tell the beer story, because Ray's method, Norm.
Ray is pretty much method, I guess. So we found out his character Trammell Steadfast at the end, as no spoiler, you'll see more about him. But he had to drink several beers. But I said, hey, look, we're going to do a few angles, a few moments here. You do not have to chug. These are beers, These are real life beers. Pour that out and put water in there. And he was like, no, the character, he needs to have it in
he needs to feel it. He's like, he would be tasting it. He would be feeling it right now. No.
I'm a method drinker too.
I am too. Now that I think about it, Ray converted me. I am as well now.
He polished several. It was really cool, and he was so fun, and he definitely was cool with me asking about some of his previous work, which I just had to indulge myself because I'm such a fan. But wow,
well,
no joke. I'm not making this up. Everyone was wonderful, and they loved the script.
Yeah, and we literally we couldn't have been any. We couldn't have been any more grateful for all of the cast. I mean, there's people that obviously we're even forgetting, like Carrie Finkley, who plays Muff, who is just hysterical in the film. And she's got all these scenes with all these huge. I mean, she's got all these scenes. Thomas Howell, James Hong. She's in scenes with these, and man, she was awesome and didn't bat an eye. And just having these seasoned pros around who are literally our favorite actors of all time. Some of them, right? So that these are a few of our favorites. We've obviously got more that we want to work with, but they just elevated everybody else's game. Like everyone, you had to be on point, because suddenly the guy that was maybe slacking a little when I asked him to do something, James Hong walks on set and the guy's like standing straight up, one of the crew members, and ready to go before anybody.
Yes, sir, right away, sir.
Right away, sir. Let me do that. Yeah. So it was. I mean, so that was just awesome. And that's I think that's part of the reasons why movie stars are worth what they are to movies, because they bring something to it that is intangible. It can't be, so.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. They elevated it for sure. And like C. Thomas Howell,
he's awesome.
His scenes were great. He was really funny.
I'm so glad. I just
more comedy from this.
Yeah, I was just emailing with him yesterday talking about how people were really telling us that they very much like his role. And I think, when we started shooting, he was like, what the hell did I get myself involved in?
Yeah.
And what is going on here? And then by the time we wrapped, he owned Breen. Like he just, it was like part of him. And then when it was gone, that was it. That's Breen, So it's pretty amazing to watch an artist like that work too, and be a part of his process. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now question, how does a pair of directors direct together? I mean, are like, do you guys have your own particular talents, like certain things fall into your wheelhouse or not, or is it some sort of a dance? How do you guys work together?
Yeah, absolutely. I've not yet directed a movie that I wasn't at least supporting role in, because I just come from such an acting background, such a comedy, physical background. I love doing it. So especially when I'm in a scene as Hampton, it's really important that, I have Chris there. It's just so helpful. Also, there's a lot of times when Chris will be behind the camera, there's so much to do with lighting and just so much getting the production designer in the moment so you can have so much set up and everything in the camera in that scene. Meanwhile, I might be helping an actor or helping an effect, if we have some gore coming up. So we definitely felt out each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, I have it just turns out that I have a lot more directing experience with features than Spain does, just because I've just done more, more films. And so that part of my wheelhouse, every film I do, I learn what some bonehead thing that I did on that one. And so I try not to make the same mistakes. So I pretty much, like Spain said, I stayed a lot behind the camera, worked exactly with what we were shooting in that second. And you know, we tag teamed on a lot of handling with the actors and again the effects and approvals on things and things like that. So because it was a one camera shoot, we did a single camera shoot, which was we wanted to do it because that's how these 80s films were made. Especially the indies, and it was, you know, a blessing and a curse because we got some magic in it that everybody's under this pressure cooker, and you know there's only one camera, and you know the pros are saving it for their close up when they're off camera, obviously, but helping each other. And so it was a little bit of like organized chaos the entire shoot. And so we definitely needed to staff each other's weaknesses in order to, you know, really just deliver the film that we wanted to deliver.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how are you guys staying creative during the pandemic right now?
It's been pretty, you know, I have to say, as far as the creative side, because there are no other distractions that otherwise I would maybe go get myself into. I can't just go out and do things like I had in the past. I actually have been writing a lot more. I've been hired to work on a couple of, to adapt a couple of books with one of the producers from Get Out, one of the executive producers from Get Out.
Nice.
And yeah, and it's
Congrats.
a bestseller, and so thank you. It's been awesome. It's been a great experience as far as like working with different people remotely. I thought it was going to be really difficult, but it's actually been a good experience and really forced me to stay on track and on my deadlines, and also all the stuff we're doing with Beast Mode, because we're planning a sequel. And we just, you know, pray that we're going to be able to make it. That's what, you know, we hope people like the first one. And it's enough so that we can justify, hey, let's give another installment of the Creed, you know.
And what about you, Spain?
Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about the follow-up. And as far as just adapting some old remakes, it's a dream, obviously. It's not like anything set up, but you know, if you're put on the spot and Beast Mode has this wonderful reception and you get asked that, you don't want to be caught thinking. You want to have that right and ready. So Chris and I have definitely got some dream projects that we would like to revive. We are definitely products of the 80s. You would never catch me anywhere except a video rental store. VHS was my life growing up. And I just feel like there's so much serious movies, and then of course you've got, which I love the Marvel movies, but you've got that, and there's a little bit of that lost soul from the 80s that just needs to come back. And I think there's a big appreciation for the genre we're working on. And when I go to these horror conventions and I see thousands of people like me, it reminds me that there is a massive audience for this kind of stuff still. It's not extreme horror, and it's not just pure comedy, but it's somewhere in between that you want to just have some beers, throw it on at midnight, invite your friends over, and we're trying to bring that back. And I'm really proud of what we've done.
Remember the smell of video stores?
Oh,
absolutely. I worked in a few. Absolutely.
Really? Where?
Yeah.
At a Blockbuster or an
No, just at a few local ones. I was probably like helping out just barely of age as I'm like, you know, ending high school, and just some fun memories.
Oh my God. And remember getting on like waiting lists for popular movies? And
oh
like
gosh,
that?
it's awesome. It made it that much, Norm, it was that much more important when you got it. You know, it was
it was like gold.
Because you couldn't binge it when you just clicked the button. You had to actually plan to watch it and put effort in and drive, right? And get.
Are we gonna get there? Are they gonna have any copies left? It's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, the good old days when things weren't convenient.
Yeah, boy, we long for that inconvenience so much. That's great. Well, I mean, it's really sad too, because this may be the swan song of the video store in most states. What's with people not being able to actually physically go, you know, at what's been happening for the last 9 months. So I know that places like Vidiot's, like I know places will survive in LA. I know that in film towns, New York, Chicago, these video stores, these things will survive, but they're going to be so few, kind of like drive-ins.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful memories when you talk about the smell, the carpet, just everything, the type of people like us that would go and get these, that would go and rent them, you know, it's like seeing yourself. It's great.
Those were the days.
Yep.
But so tell me, what advice would you give to other up-and-coming independent filmmakers? What would you tell them right now?
I would say you're going to get excited and you're going to think about all these different departments and all these different things that, eventually in the end come together to make your film, but it all starts with the script. So you want to make sure before you start thinking about any of that other stuff that you have a solid script. And then when you think you have a solid script, revise it again, because you're going to be, so close to it. Have a helping hand, get someone involved, and get, some friends to read it, and just make sure that that's the, super solid. And then, you just, it definitely is not something that just happens as quickly as you might think in your head. It takes a lot of long evenings and, months turn into years sometimes, but you got to stay determined that you will get this film made. It may not be the grandiose magnum opus that you had in your head, this $10 million, mega version of it. But, you start with something and people see that you're working and you're doing something, then the next one is all that much bigger. My first movie was, this ridiculous little comedy that we shot basically in our backyards in San Francisco in between jobs while we were video game QA testers. And it was like a few $100. Now we're doing, thinking about following up Beast Mode, and they're getting bigger and better each time. So you just have to stay determined. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of great payoff.
And I would say that, Spain, on what you said as far as it being a lot of work. I mean, the only two things I would tell anybody is I would say if you're going to do it, then you got to commit, period. That you just, there is, like, I've met a lot of people in the entertainment industry who are really talented, but they had an out. They had a, like, if I don't do this by September 20th of 2022, then I'm done. I'm moving back and I'm going to finish college, or I'm going to take my degree and go do with my, and you can't have a way out. You cannot. I mean, I think it sounds kind of insane. I would definitely not want to talk anybody into doing this in this industry, but I would say that, that, and tell the story that you really know, and that if you don't like it, then no one will probably like it. So we at least had to laugh and be laughing with the actors. And then the next question was, is anybody else going to laugh at this or like this? Like, at least enough people are. So we feel like, okay, maybe they will, maybe. And then it's really interesting too. We've been in Canada screening the film, in LA and Michigan, and different, all these different places, and crowds have reacted to different jokes. And some things I thought, I was worried people would be offended. We certainly don't want to offend anybody. We want to entertain, and make fun of, lampoon all these ridiculous experiences and people that especially that I met in the studio system, where it's just like they live on, it's literally alternate reality time. Like they don't live in the reality that we all live in. And so we found that to be like, more and more, I just say, be true to yourself. All the times when I wasn't true to myself is when I've ended up making a mistake. So.
Yeah. So guys, we're nearing the end of the interview, but, take that, independent filmmakers, take that for what you will. These people are working, and don't give up, period. Just right. And so now we are to the lightning round. Okay, so first thing that comes into your guys' heads, okay? So we have 9 questions. Cake or pie?
Pie, baby.
Cake.
Okay. What was your last Halloween costume?
A murderer. An escaped convict murderer.
Bob from Twin Peaks.
Nice. Okay, pick one. Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, or Pinhead?
Oh,
Pinhead all the way.
It's got to be.
You got to pick one.
Freddy.
Okay, cool. So, favorite horror subgenre?
Survival horror.
Probably slime horror, just melting goo, street trash, the stuff, really weird.
Okay, very good. Moving on. One actor that you would love to work with.
Oh God, Harrison Ford.
Nice. I will go with Probably Jeff Goldblum.
Excellent. Halloween candy. Favorite Halloween candy?
Three Musketeers. Little guys. Minis.
Anything Reese's, I'll steal it from any child.
I want to see that happen. Put that in the sequel. Okay, favorite horror film?
The Shining.
It's kind of a tie between Aliens and The Fly because I saw them both in '86, and they made me want to get into this industry.
You were supposed to say Beast Mode. Okay, pick one. Pick one. Video games, board games, or puzzles?
Board games.
I'm a video game freak.
Excellent. And name something that scares you.
Honestly, whatever that phobia is of something grabbing you from under your bed, that's me. I got it. So something's under there. It's not in my mind. It's real.
Right. I would say doors and things opening on their own. That is something that happens to me way too often. And there's always some justification like the wind or something. But half the time I'm in the middle of a horror thought or I'm writing something. And so then you just go, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go have a beer. I'm going to go do something else.
That's awesome. And you guys survived the lightning round.
Yes.
And you both win. You're both winners. Everybody wins.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our little interview, but please make sure to catch Beast Mode on December 1st from Devilworks Pictures and Spain Willingham and Chris W. Freeman. It's a lot of fun. And with that, we are going to sign off.
Nice. Had a blast. Thank you so much, Hard Buzz. Norman.
Thanks you guys for coming around. Hopefully we'll do this again for the sequel.
For sure.
We'll see you then.